Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I want to welcome you to Prattville City Council, Tuesday, October 20th, 2015, 6 p.m. City Council meeting. I'm going to ask that you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag and remain standing for our invocation tonight given by Councilor Boone. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pray with me, please. Lord, thank you for the privilege of being here tonight. I just pray that you would send peace over those who have gathered here tonight, that the business of the city will be conducted well, that you will give us wisdom as we make decisions that will help the citizens of this city and help the business of this city to run well. Help us to have a good night. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Striplin. Here. Counselor Wood.
Here.
Counselor Brown.
Here.
Counselor Starnes.
Here.
Counselor Whiteside.
Here.
Counselor Bowles. Here. Counselor Boone.
Here.
I call this Prattville City Council meeting to order. A character trait of the month is thoroughness, knowing what factors will diminish the effectiveness of my work and worries if neglected. This time we have approval of a minute City Council meeting, public hearing, October 6, 2015. We have a motion.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor of approval of those minutes signify by raising your right hand. And those minutes are now approved. This time we have comments from President regarding tonight's agenda. Anyone on tonight's agenda, any item? Mayor, your report.
Yes, sir, I do, and if I'm on point of privilege,
Yes, sir.
part of that, I'd like to compliment Ray Bowles, Councilman Bowles, on his shirt tonight, but I'd like to ask a member of the Prattville Exchange Club to come up. We'd like to honor some of our public safety professionals here in the city of Prattville. I'd like to thank the Exchange Club for all the work that all the dedication they have shown for the city of Prattville and to our professionals. And we have some family members, and they'll be back from the Exchange Club. Wanted to say a few words. Okay, you're not scared of the microphone?
Well, I don't know. Does it bite?
Sometimes.
I'm Jim Haynes. My wife Nancy's the president of the Exchange Club, and this is our secretary and treasurer, and she's also a member, and have some firemen here and police that are members of our Exchange Club. January will make 5 years that we've been since we established it here. Some of our programs that we have is our focus is Americanism and child abuse, and we hand out flags at the different deals they have here, the fairs and the carnivals and all that sort of things. We've presented the high school with plaques that have the Declaration of Independence on it, and there's probably 20 different plaques on 2 sheets of plywood that we have over there. The teachers can take them off and take them in their class when they have a program on that. We presented 3 babies to the child abuse prevention centers. We gave them an alcohol baby, a shaken baby, and a drug baby. And we meet at Jim's Restaurant every first and third Thursday at 11:30. We need members, and we have a fundraising deal that we'll be coming up with. It'll be on our Facebook page, and we knocked out some participation, and the city helps us out with funding for 2 firemen and 2 policemen. And when they don't have something like they had this week, I think they had an earthquake or something this week going on, they bless us with their presence, and we generally try to have a speaker and a program there at something to do with the emergency, or I can't even remember right now the last one we had, but it's a good time. We have a good fellowship, and try to network with the other deals in the county, and we'd really like to have some more members and some more help with it.
Don't forget about the good food now, too.
Well, the gyms is a good place to
Yeah,
eat, and just like tonight, every year we present Fireman of the Year and Policeman of the Year. We did it here last year. We ended up chamber up there 2 or 3 times, and it's just a community involvement deal, and try to better the community and more about Americanism and things that we need to do, and get out there and do it. And I know there's a lot of other programs that do a lot of good for the community and the nation and all of it. We would certainly appreciate y'all coming and being part of us.
Well, thank you. Thank you for
Thank you,
being a
Bill.
partner in Prattville. Corporal Emmanuel has some plaques and everything else. Anybody else with the Exchange Club like to say anything? No? Okay. Well, who's the first recipient tonight?
Sean Malloy,
Sergeant Sean Malloy. You'll come on up, Chief. Anybody from the Exchange Club want to come in tonight?
I'll get in there.
Okay. I'm not going to bite. I promise. Thank you for all your hard work. Would you like to say a few words?
I just very humbled and thankful for this award. Thankful first and foremost to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for being head of my life and working through me. Wonderful department, excellent chiefs, supervisors, and just continue to want to love and serve this community, this wonderful community that we have. And so I thank you very much.
The reason he was nominated, he was assigned to the HIDTA task force in Montgomery, it's DEA task force, and he was one of the case agents, and it was one of the largest drug roundups in the history of HIDTA, and I think out of 19, we arrested 18 that day. That day, 27 suspects who arrested, a high rate, which was unusual, but he was one of the main case agents that it affected statewide.
Well, I'll also like to say thank you to their families, too, because there's always the family behind the scene that goes, that's a part of this team also. But moving right on along.
Okay, Captain Travis Rhodey.
Captain Travis
Fire
Rhodey.
Department.
Come on over here.
Y'all gotta get my good side with my
Would you like to say anything before Chief?
Yes, let me start off by saying if you don't do dishes in your house, this is what happens. Everybody's trying to ask me about what's going on. I'm not fighting. Got a little sis. It's going to be taken care of next week, but it sounds better to let everybody know my dishes are clean. So I can't follow Sean, man. That's awesome. Hey, it's the same thing, I'm one of those people. If it's not for God, you can't do anything. And I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for God. Good Lord's been with me through a lot of good times to the city. As y'all know, through a lot of bad times through the city. But I believe He has a purpose for everything. And I just am very grateful and thankful for the opportunities I have. I get to talk to seniors every day, get to talk to young kids every day. And that's my passion. I love coaching. I love talking to kids. And we'll see about 8,000 to 9,000 kids a year. And today, kids need a lot of good role models. You get people like Sean, myself, the rest of the fire department, the police department. These are the heroes that people need. And I'm just very grateful to have my job. I pray every day I come to work that I can be a better employee, that I can do my job better. Not the smartest guy sometimes, but I hope that what we do in the long run will pay off many years down the road. I thank the chief, the mayor, the council. Y'all always support us in everything we do, whether it's T-shirts or whether it's anything with the public education, and I really appreciate that. So thank y'all very much.
As you can
tell he's my public information officer. Too. We are proud of Travis. He touches a lot of individuals each and every day, and there's testimonies that come from that. Kids that stop, drop, and roll, smoke in the house, what to do, wake their parents, just several different things that he has put into effect. 8,000 to 9,000 touches on students. That's not counting the elderly in the nursing home. It's just a reverse effect in education, teaching them what to remember and what to do. So I'm very pleased with Travis and his commitment, and it takes a special person in public education. And he is a great spokesperson for us. He's almost gotten in trouble because I think Sean said a great chief.
He did.
Work for a great chief. I live with that. But anyway, I do also want to thank the mayor and the city council for providing the funds for public education. Prevention is the key. You all know that. We want to be proactive instead of the cause of reactive. So thank you again for what you do and the citizens.
Thank you. I'll be sergeant next week, so thank y'all.
Well, good. Thank you. Thank you, Exchange Club. Again, I'd like to say thank you to the families, too, because behind... Oh, cake and punch. Immediately afterwards? That sounds like a winner. But, again, thank you to everybody here, and including the families there. Moving right on along, Thursday evening, we will hold our second public meeting for the Parks Master Plan project. Our project team will go over the survey results. It is vital to the process that everyone come out, help us move forward on this important initiative to enhance our parks, recreation facilities for the betterment of this community. The meeting will be held from 6 to 7 p.m. at Doster Community Center on Thursday, October 22nd. As another public announcement, the Spinners Pumpkin Patch event this weekend at Spinners Park. I don't know exactly how many years they've been doing that, but it's been since I've been knee-high. But the Prattle Pops are holding their fall concert on Sunday, October 25th at 3 p.m. at Doster Community Center. Halloween Candy Walk is next Thursday, October 29th from 4 to 6 p.m. Begins in front of City Hall. Please be sure to bring a canned food item to support the Autauga Interfaith Care Center. This is their largest donation event of the year, and we want to have a great turnout for them. Council President Wood and I will be attending the National League of Cities Convention next week. Naming delegates for that convention is on tonight's agenda. Looking forward to interacting with our counterparts from all over the nation. The city is honored on November the 5th, and we'll share more information on that current event. But, Mr. President, that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Mayor. Does anyone have any questions or comments for the Mayor, Councilman Bowles?
I'm going to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about the shirt. I know, let me show you. The fire department selling for Breast Awareness Month. I can't promise you will look this good in it, but give it a try. For all the city employees, if you will buy one, y'all can wear them all next week. I give you that permission.
Well,
So don't worry about what the mayor says on this one. Y'all are welcome to wear them all week long. They have them for sale, $12 across the street, but they're out of all sizes till the week after next. Thank you.
Some might have to wear them up underneath their regular city uniforms. Is that okay, City Clerk? Okay. Well, Mr. President, if nothing else.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. At this time, we have reports from Council on Special Committees. Councilor Strickland. No, sir. Councilor Brown.
No, sir.
Councilor Stearns.
No, sir.
Councilor Whiteside.
No, sir.
Councilor Bowles.
No, sir.
Councilor Boone.
No, sir.
At this time, we have a report on the status of city finances from our finance director.
You should have the financial report for the month of September in front of you. The first sheet in the packet is the revenue reports broken down by type of revenue or source of revenue. It shows that we are 91.67% through the year. We still have some accruals of some revenue that's going to be coming in the month of October that will come back into the 2014 fiscal year. But you will see that we have received 99.12% of our budgeted revenues. So that should push us well over 100 once everything is in. The second sheet in your packet is the tax breakdown comparison, showing all of the tax line items and how we fared for the month of September. You will see that for the month of September, we were up 5.88%, so it was a very strong month. The next sheet in your packet is the expense report by department. You will see that we are 100% through the year on the expense side. Most everybody's right in line where they should be as far as expenses. You will see that we have spent 92.64% of our budgeted expenses. The next sheet in the packet is the wastewater enterprise fund income statement. You will see that they have received 96.98% of their budgeted revenues, so they're running well ahead of where they should be in the year. Expense side, they are up, but as I've noted previously, that's due to the debt payoff that we did earlier in the year. The next sheet is the sanitation enterprise fund income statement. You will see that they've received 92.41% of their budgeted revenue, and they have spent 91.25% of their budgeted expenses. The next sheet in the packet is the judicial special revenue fund income statement, showing that they've received 84.16% of their budgeted revenue. A lot of this is due to it's not using JCS, and so those revenues are coming in slower. We've got some employees now that should help bring that back in quicker. But they have spent 74.37% of their budgeted expenses. The next sheet in the packet is the gas tax revenue fund income statement, showing that we have received 107% of our budgeted revenue as far as the gas tax is concerned. It also shows how we fared in the account balances for the gas tax special revenue fund. The next sheet is the capital projects fund income statement. You will see that we have received 100% of our lodging fee. Total revenue that we've received 43.29%. That's due to some lagging on the extension of the Old Farm Lane through that piece of property. We're waiting on some money back from the county as that project progresses. But we are running right in line where we should be in that. The next sheet is the group health fund income statement. Obviously, we're watching this very closely as the group health balance is kind of dipping down. It normally does this time of year. You'll notice that as of September 30th, the balance of the group health fund is $465,271.89. As you know, we did increase the amount that the general fund and enterprise funds are paying into the group health fund this next year, as well as the employee deduction into that fund. So that should help build that account back up. The next sheet in the packet is the account balances report for September 30th, 2015. The balance on all city bank accounts was $18,242,850.39. And the last sheet in the packet is the accounts payable and debt balances, showing that the balance of all city debt as of September 30th, 2015 is $40,197,222.04.
Thank you, Mr. Moser. Does any council member have any questions or comments for Mr. Moser? Councilor Ball, please.
Yes, sir. The bond payment's due this month?
Yes, sir. Well, it's due at the end of this month. I actually went today to do the transfer to get it over, and I think we were just waiting on the mayor's signature for it to go through.
And we have cash on hand to pay for it?
Absolutely.
And what was that, like $3 million?
It was about $2 million.
$2 million. Great. Thank you.
Any other council member? Thank you, Mr. Moser. We'll go into our agenda. We do have 2 items on the consent agenda tonight. Item number 1 is a resolution named voting delegate and an alternate for the National League of Cities annual business meeting in Nashville, Tennessee. Number 2 is a resolution to surplus 1 vehicle from the Vehicle Maintenance Department. We have a motion to place these 2 items on consent agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. We have a second. All in favor of placing these 2 items on consent agenda signify by raising your right hand. And these 2 items have been placed on a consent agenda. We have a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Will there be any discussion on either of these 2 items? All in favor of adoption of the consent agenda signify by raising your right hand. And the consent agenda is adopted. The next item on the agenda is a resolution to appoint department heads. Councilor Brown, will you read it, please?
Yes, sir. Whereas department heads of the City of Prattville were appointed through the period of September 30, 2015, or until their successors are duly qualified and appointed, in Resolution Book 2014B, page 157. And whereas the Public Works Director was appointed in Resolution Book 2015, page 95. And whereas it is time for the City Council to reconsider these appointments. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that the following individuals are hereby appointed as head of the departments appearing opposite their name until September 30, 2016, or until their successors are duly qualified and appointed. Fire Department, Terry D. Brown, pay grade 107-07. Police Department, Mark C. Thompson, pay grade 208-04. Parks and Recreation, Kelly Cook, pay grade 411-04. Public Works, Dale Gandy, pay grade 314-06. Be it further resolved that the salaries for said positions are approved in accordance with the pay plans adopted by the Prattville City Council and shall be effective with the pay period beginning October 25th, 2015. So moved, Mr. President.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second? Second. We have a second. Be any discussion on this item? All in favor signify by raising your right hand. And this item is adopted. Item number 2 is a resolution to authorize work order number 4, project number PV-1501 with Engineers of the South for preliminary engineering services to provide sanitary sewer flow monitoring of the Pine Creek and Fay Branch interceptors for the wastewater department at a cost not to exceed $45,000. Councilor Strickland, will you read it, please?
Yes, sir. Whereas the City of Prattville Wastewater Department has a need for preliminary engineering services to provide sanitary sewer flow monitoring for the Pine Creek and Fay Branch interceptor sewers. And whereas the city desires to retain Engineers of the South, LLC, to provide such services as described in work order number 4. And whereas said services are a budgeted expense for the wastewater department at a cost not to exceed $45,000. And whereas Section 41-16-51A3 Code of Alabama 1975 as amended allows contracts to secure services with consultants possessing a high degree of professional skill to be let without competitive bidding. And whereas said project is planned for the rainy, wet season of November, December, and January for peak flow data. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that the work order number 4, project number PV-1501 is hereby authorized with Engineers of the South, LLC, for said preliminary engineering services for the wastewater department, and that the mayor is hereby authorized to sign any and all documents necessary to execute said agreement. Be it further resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that funds in an amount of $45,000 are hereby authorized and approved to be paid to Engineers of the South, LLC, and said funds are hereby approved and appropriated from the FY 2016 budget, line items Wastewater Enterprise Fund / Drafting and Engineering and Street Sewer line. So moved, Mr. President.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Will there be any discussion on this item? All in favor signify by raising your right hand. And this item is adopted. Item number 3 is a resolution to authorize the mayor to enter into a joint funding agreement with U.S. Geological Survey for the operation of a stream flow gauging station on Autauga Creek for FY 2016 at a cost not to exceed $15,900. Councilor Boone, will you read it, please?
Yes, sir. Whereas Resolution Book 2014A, page 076, authorized the mayor to enter into a joint funding agreement with the USGS for the construction, installation, and operation of a stream flow gauging system on Autauga Creek. And whereas USGS shall continue to operate the stream flow gauging station for FY 2016 at a cost not to exceed $15,900. And whereas this is a budgeted expense for the planning department, now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Prattville hereby authorize and empowers the mayor to enter into a joint funding agreement with the USGS for the operation of a stream flow gauging station on Autauga Creek for FY 2016 in an amount not to exceed $15,900, and said funds are approved and appropriated from FY 2016 budget, line item Planning Department, miscellaneous contract services. So moved, Mr. President.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. We'll be in discussion on this item. All in favor signify by raising your right hand. And this item is adopted. Item number 4 is a resolution to authorize the purchase of 10 Victory motorcycles from Victory Police Motorcycles through H-GAC Purchasing Cooperative for the Police Department at a cost of $258,310 to be financed through U.S. Bank Corp. Government Leasing and Finance Incorporated. Councilor Starnes, will you read it, please?
Yes, sir. Whereas the City of Prattville Police Department has a need for 10 motorcycles, and whereas said motorcycles available through HGAC contract number R01 from Victory Police Motorcycles at a cost of $258,310. And whereas said equipment shall be financed through U.S. Bank Corporation Government Leasing and Finance Incorporated for a period of 5 years. Now therefore be resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that purchase of said motorcycles for the Police Department through the HGAC Purchasing Cooperative from Victory Police Motorcycles at a cost of $258,310 hereby approved and appropriated in financing for said equipment is hereby authorized and approved through U.S. Bank Corporation Government Leasing and Finance Incorporated. Be it further resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville as follows. Section 1, it is hereby found and determined that the terms of the agreement in the forms presented to this meeting and incorporated in this resolution are in the best interest of the city for the acquisition of the equipment. Section 2, the agreement and acquisition of financing of the equipment under the terms and conditions as described in the agreement are hereby approved. The mayor of the City of Prattville shall have the power to execute contracts on behalf of the city and is hereby authorized to execute, acknowledge, and deliver the agreement with any changes, insertion, and omissions therein may be approved by the officers who execute the agreement. Such approval to be conclusively evidenced by such execution and delivery of the agreement. The City Clerk of the City of Prattville is hereby authorized to affix the official seal of leasee to the agreement and attest the same. Section 3, the mayor is authorized to execute and deliver any and all papers, instruments, opinions, certificates, affidavits, and other documents, and to do or cause to be done any and all the acts and things necessary or proper for carrying out this resolution and agreement. Section 4, pursuant to Section 265B of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 as amended, the city hereby specifically designates the agreement as a non-qualified tax-exempt obligation for the purposes of Section 265B3 of the Code. So moved, Mr. President.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second? Second. We have a second. We'll be in discussion on this item.
Yes, sir. I just want to let the public know that we are having a 2.4% for 4 years. It says 5 years, but we don't have to start paying till next year. We do have 10 motorcycles, the Harley Davidsons, and we're going to keep one for historical value. And due to the cost of maintenance, it's best to go ahead and change these out.
Thank you. Any other council member? All in favor of adoption signify by raising your right hand. And this item is adopted. That exhausts our regular agenda. We do have one item that needs to come from the floor tonight. We ask Councilor Boone if you would read it, please.
Yes, sir. Whereas the City of Prattville has identified a need to install additional handrails with aluminum mid-center steps on the visitor side bleachers at Stanley Jensen Stadium, and whereas Thrill Kill Builders Incorporated has the ability to install said handrails and steps at a cost not to exceed $19,200, and whereas said improvements are a budgeted expense for the Parks and Recreation Department, now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that said funds in an amount not to exceed $19,200 are hereby authorized and approved to be paid to Thrill Kill Builders Incorporated for handrails with aluminum mid-center steps, and said funds are approved and appropriated from FY 2016 budget, line item Parks and Rec capital outlay. So move, Mr. President.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. As per our rules, this item did not reach the agenda in time. In order to be considered tonight, the rules must be suspended unanimously. Do we have a motion to suspend the rules? We have a motion to suspend. Do we have a second? Second. We have a second. All in favor of suspension of the rules signify by raising your right hand. Rules have been suspended. Be in a discussion on this item. All in favor of adoption signify by raising your right hand. And this item is adopted. At this time, we'll have comments from persons present. If you'd like to speak to the council, please raise your hand and come forward. Yes, ma'am. In the back, we have a hand back there. Yes, Miss. Yes, ma'am. You. Please state your name and the microphone and your address for the records.
Name, Delando, Delando Taylor, 450 North Court Street here in the Prattville area. I came tonight in concern. I live on the corner of 8th Street, North Court and 8th. And as most of you all probably know, there was some water work done on the corner of 6th and Martin Luther King by Bethlehem Church, where they milled up the road to repair maybe a water line. I'm not for sure. But they did a lot of milling, and they replaced it with small American whitching. That was about 2-3 months ago. Whitching, as you pass through there, is throwing rocks. Now, my car been hit several times, and the insurance say it's just a road hazard. So what I came to find out, who is responsible for the repair or patching? They done milled it up. They replaced it with ag. Who is responsible for replacing this with asphalt to keep this road from being damage to other cars?
Thank you. I'm going to let the mayor have that, Ms. Taylor, and see if he can give you an answer to you. Mayor.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming down. And actually, we just had 6th Street repaved just not that many months ago. What actually happened, and I believe it was an 8-inch water line ruptured. And so I believe that's, anyway, it is responsibility of the water board. But because of the way the water had come out and undermined a lot of things, so I believe that actually what they're doing is allowing all of that to get settled down before they come back in and repave it. But anyway, that is a responsibility of the water board.
So city engineer would not be responsible for asphalting it back? Are they going to wait until they see whether or not any water would submerge up again, or that's what you're saying?
I really can't answer that question, but I'm sure be glad to follow up on that, and be glad to get with you if you will. Get with my assistant, give her your phone number. We don't want your phone number to go out over the airways, but if you'd be glad to give us your phone number, we'll be glad to get some of those answers for you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor, for bringing that to the council's attention. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
John Lee Finnegan, 211 Deer Trace. I'm coming before you regarding the list of streets you approved to be paved at a cost of $796,850. Sunday's Advertiser, excuse me, article by Marty Rooney stated this paving project is the first in at least 5 years. And I looked through my files, and an August 10th, 2010 Advertiser article by him stated a list of streets to be paved would go before the August 16th, 2010 council with the idea that the paving would begin mid-October 2010. In searching the minutes, the list wasn't presented, and by mid-October, as we are all aware of, the city's true financial position became known. That August 10th article also stated that the rankings would be the worst first, with streets in the poorest condition getting priority. I would assume that would be the case today. However, I drove the streets to look at those on the list, and because of what I saw, would like to comment on some of them. I am using the alphabetical list that was posted on the city's website. Bridge Street. Marty Rooney's Prattville Progress article 2 weeks ago on the HPRA quoted Tommy Newton saying that at least 3 outfits are now eyeing the mill for future development. The HPRA bought the mill December 29, 2014. Therefore, the 1-year lien holders' right of redemption on the mill will be ending the end of this year. Since redevelopment of the mill has been in the works for over 3 years, it would seem that construction would then begin as soon as possible. This means a lot of trucks, heavy equipment, etc. using Bridge Street. I don't understand paving it now. Why not wait until construction is finished? On Cherry Drive, the Wastewater Enterprise Fund's 2015-2016 budget has a $45,000 capital project for Cherry Drive to replace the line between Boxwood to Woodville. And I thought this was perfect timing to have the street paved as soon after the repair is made. And from what you just said, they won't be responsible then for repaving that portion of Cherry Drive in connection with the other ladies? Because you said the wastewater with the pipes and stuff?
Water board is what we were talking about.
Yeah, but,
Water board
wastewater.
was what we're talking about on 6th Street.
The wastewater, okay.
Probably water board.
Cobb's Ford Place, this was interesting. The street needs to be paved for sure, but in my trying to find where it was located, I Googled it and could only come up with Cobb's Ford Lane. I found out today from the engineering department that the street is supposed to be named Cobb's Ford Place. I then checked with the fire department, and they and 911 has it listed as Cobb's Ford Lane. There is no street sign, and if it needs to be changed to Cobb's Ford Place, then that correction should be made as soon as possible and a sign erected. So it was very confusing, because when I went online, I just couldn't find it, and in reality, it's not named correctly, supposedly. Court Street. It definitely needs to be paved, especially now that the railroad tracks have been torn out. All the streets downtown are also on the list, yet I was surprised that Chestnut Street by City Hall running to First was not. I just drove that today. I drive it a lot. It is in much worse shape than some of the others. Some don't even look like they need paving. However, due to the possibility of construction vehicles using Main, perhaps its paving should be reconsidered also. I have no idea how construction trucks and heavy equipment are going to be routed when the mill is under construction. Doe Drive and Fawn Lane. I live in the neighborhood, and Doe does need to be paved along with a small portion of Fawn Lane that abuts Doe. Much of Fawn, however, is in very good condition. Two other streets, Deerwood and Pletcher, have portions that are in much more dire need of paving than the portion on Fawn. One area, Deerwood, has some large patches, and almost half of Pletcher has one side repaved and it is torn up. It's in bad condition. Both of these streets are used as main thoroughfares to other areas of the city and get much more use. Hughes Street, intersection of Martin Luther King at Gardner and Greencrest, and the Prattville Junior High School turn lanes. These are all connected by a short portion of Martin Luther King, and I'm wondering why that portion is not being paved also, because it is in bad condition. So here's Prattville Junior High School, and then the intersections of Greencrest and Gardner, and you have this swell of Martin Luther King, and it's not very long, but it's all torn up. And I'm just surprised that since we have this part and this part, why this part wasn't done also. Cornegay Drive. Really, for the life of me, I do not understand why this dead-end street that gets so little traffic on much of it is going to be paved. It's almost like a private drive and seems totally unnecessary. Warren Circle. I was shocked to see that this is a still unpaved, rutted dirt road off 6th Street. I don't understand why it hadn't been paved long before this, or why it wasn't at least paved when 6th Street was paved at the end of last year. I realize that the contracts have already been signed, with construction to possibly begin as early as Thanksgiving, and nothing can be done. I was just wanted to make my thoughts known. That's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Ms. Finnegan at this time? Thank you, Ms. Finnegan. Anyone else like to speak to the council, please raise your hand. Yes, sir. Come up. State your name and address for the record.
My name is Doug Dietzel. I'm at 412 Hallmark Drive. My question is related to code enforcement. Does this community have a code enforcement position?
I think they do. I don't know if it's filled right now, but there is a position for code enforcement.
All right, is it filled? Is somebody working that position?
I would have to refer you to the administration on that to make sure.
We have some police officers that are, I guess say, doing double duty on that until that position is filled.
All right, and any plans on when it's going to be filled? Because this
Yes,
community, at least where I live, it needs it. It needs somebody up there.
If you'd like to get with my assistant, I'll be glad to sit with you and maybe you can
I would
bring
have the opportunity to be able to communicate with you. And in fact, I have already left several messages for you. So I just have to communicate with her again. I was Lisa at the desk. And my concerns or the issues are related to trash. There's trash in the streets, and when it does rain, it rolls down the hill. I've met Mr. Gandy, and he has worked with me in regards to correct that. But it can't be me just enforcing it. I need help, and quite honestly, how can I find out what district do I live in? 412 Hallmark is your district.
Yes, sir. You're
Okay.
in New Moon Trailer Park, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. That's this.
Okay. And is there a way I can get a business card or something of yours?
I will see if I have one. I'm very happy to give you my number right now.
Here.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. I have
Sir,
a
if you will
question.
hold up, and council members may have a questions or comment for you.
You stated you have garbage coming down your street. What type of garbage? I mean, is it a lot, or because I have to go to my street and I pick up all my trash that's on the street and what's in the neighborhood. So I know you just can
It's
you be a little more
household.
specific? Thank you.
It's household trash. It's being left. It's not being left in their yard. It's being set out in, our trash service there is on Thursday mornings and Monday mornings. Today is Tuesday, and there's trash in the street right now.
I understand that. What I'm saying is it just from people leaving it like at the beginning of the night before the trash pickup and the dogs or the cats come tearing it up, or is it just people throwing trash out at their windows? Because there's so much we can do to enforce that.
All right, it is household trash, bag trash, like I would set out on Thursday morning or Monday morning, but it's out at all times. Of course, that does bring animals into it as well. Now, if it's left in the street where 412 is, it's a hill, and my particular property is right on the water drain, so it rolls right down the gutter and it lands right in front of my house. Now, Mr. Gandy has approached it, and they did come up and they made a valiant effort, but no one's paying attention to them. And if it's just me, I have an issue with that because I'm the bad guy in the neighborhood now, and I want to be neighborly, but I'm not going to pick up someone else's trash.
I understand. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions or comment? Thank you, sir. Anyone else like to bring any item to the council? Mayor, you have any closing comments?
Yes, sir. I just want to thank the council for the funding that you have provided for our paving projects that we're actually already working on next year's budget. And in that, I actually foresee possibility of us trying to find certain revenue sources to actually help increase the amount of money that we might have available for funding for the future. But I do want to say I appreciate all your hard work and all the hard work from all of our city employees for everything that they do. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Striplin.
No, sir.
Councilor Brown.
No, sir.
Councilor Starnes.
No, sir.
Councilor Whiteside.
No, sir.
Councilor Bowles.
Yes, sir. Just remind everybody to go across the street, buy your T-shirt. If you're a city employee and you do so, Tuesday y'all can have 2 hours for lunch. Thank you.
Councilor Boone.
No, sir.
With that, let me take the opportunity to thank all of you all who came down tonight. Congratulations again to the Fireman of the Year, the Police Officer of the Year. We applaud you for that accomplishment, and we go further and we applaud all city employees for what you do. Thank you all in the audience who have presented things to us, and we will ask that the administration and those of us as council persons do our best to look into what you brought up tonight. With that being said, our next council meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, November 3rd, 2015 at 6 p.m. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. We adjourn.